Thank you, Madam Chair. And of course, as always, through you, I would like to ask several questions. And first of all, of course, thank our witnesses for being here today. My first question is around student participation. I know in the last election there was no voting on campus, and I heard a lot of frustration about that across my region and into other regions. And when I looked at the notes, one of the things that I read is that it felt like there wasn't enough time because the fixed election wasn't there. So I'm just trying to get clarity. Does that mean that campus voting will only be available during elections with fixed election dates? And is there no other way to start to prepare for opportunities when there may not be a fixed election date? This just seems like a huge significant loss for young voters to be engaged.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the question. I hope I can speak to it fully because it is an important issue, and campus kiosks are an initiative that we put forward because we believe that it's an important one. Now, I just want to do a minor correction. There was voting on campuses, certainly for those who resided there in some locations, and there were returning offices near most campuses, if not on the campus, and many times within the perimeters of the campus. But what there was not is the special ballot campus kiosks that we offered for the first time at a national scale in 2019, and I do wish to offer that in the future. Now, the context of this election was somewhat unique. When we began planning for it in the summer, essentially of 2020, in the pandemic, campuses were closed. So there's no option there of working with post-secondary institutions to set up arrangements for locations. They were not in that mindset, and nor was anybody else. And as we evolved in the pandemic, and as we got to the summer prior to the election, and there was talk about opening campuses, it's only then in June that we began looking at ways to do that. So certainly right now we're in a different situation. We will start communications with campuses very shortly to try to settle in advance on agreements with locations for locations to hold campus kiosks, even if it's a snap election. So certainly my goal for the fall would be, if there is a fall election, would be to have campus voting with special kiosks. But I do emphasize the fact that it has proven to be difficult in the past to obtain arrangements. It's easy to get commitment from universities and their agreement in principle. It's much more difficult to negotiate the lease arrangements, the legal parameters of the arrangements, so that we can have an agreement. And it's even harder if we don't know when that vote will take place. So we will do our best efforts, and certainly my commitment that we move towards having campus kiosks in any election. But I do want to manage expectation. It is possible that we will face difficulties in a minority context.